The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. Covering weekly fallout from TNA Impact Wrestling Live as seen on Spike TV. You're listening to Impact Showdown Radio with your host, Lee Sanders and Diamond K.
And welcome to an all-new Impact Showdown Radio. Coming at you right now on March 14th, 2013, 2 minutes past the 10 o'clock hour over here on the East Coast. How's it going, everybody? The weekend is almost here. We almost got Friday. Can you taste it? I hope you can, and I hope you've been enjoying the weather in your neck of the woods. We've been getting hit with a little bit of early spring weather. Hey, we got the chat room loaded up for you all over at blogtalkradio.com. Feel free to hop on in there when you get a free moment. You can also take the time out. Let us know how you had enjoyed tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling Live. Hit us up on Twitter, Infinity One Prod. While you're at it, take time out. Check out our Facebook page over at Infinity One Productions. Give it a like. Follow it for a little bit of news you can use. Tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling, very historic, first of permanent showings that they're going to be giving us live from the U.S. as Impact Wrestling is now going to be coming to you, the TNA wrestling fans' neck of the woods. What better way to kick it off than in my old stomping grounds where I grew up, where I was born, Chicago, Illinois. Got Impact Live from the Sears Center, and I must admit, off the break, I was very, very proud of what TNA Wrestling had accomplished with this first show. I mean, I'm kicking back over here, and I was not expecting the type of turnout that they were going to have tonight. I thought there wasn't going to be that many seats filled up. I thought maybe they were just going to stay fixated with their cameras on just one particular area throughout the whole night, but during the course of the night, we just saw several different camera angles that just really let you know that Impact Wrestling, I mean, if it wasn't a sold-out arena, it looked like it might have been pretty close. Maybe they might have been off by a couple of hundred, maybe about 1,000, but a lot of people had turned out. I was very proud of that. And when I say I was shocked, I won't say I was expecting low numbers, but I definitely wasn't expecting the type of turnout that it did. And this was definitely an Impact Wrestling episode that if you had the unfortunate pleasure of not being able to watch it tonight, you really missed out. We even had the occasional TNA fans that once used to watch the product religiously come back to see how this show did, especially hearing the word that Bully Ray had became the champion at the Lockdown pay-per-view. A lot of buzz right there. A lot of people wanting to see, okay, what's going on with the TNA product this time around. And many people, they really had enjoyed tonight's product, at least those I was able to kick back and interact with during the course of the show. Of course, we got to cap it all off from the very beginning. You know how we do it over here, just in case you might have missed it. We always give you guys the full hook. Aces and eights, they are what had opened Impact Wrestling, and they are what had closed Impact Wrestling tonight, as Aces and Eights, along with the president, as it was revealed on Lockdown, and new TNA champion Bully Ray had a thing or two to say, one of them admitting how he screwed Brooke Hogan, how he lied to Sting, and how he punked Hulk Hogan. Most importantly, he got one over in the entire TNA wrestling fans, just everywhere. And it's funny because Bully Ray brought up a very valid point from that Lockdown pay-per-view. Apparently when Wes Briscoe and one Garrett Bischoff came into the ring and tried to cause that interference, whatever it was they were doing in there. Originally what was supposed to go down was they were supposed to distract Hardy long enough for him to climb out of the cage win the title that way, still keeping his whole gimmick under the wraps. Nobody knew that he was the president. Nobody knew he was part of Aces and Eights. But Hulk Hogan just had to kick back an hour before that main event match, sit him down, give him one of those father-to-son type of conversations, telling him those famous words, go out there, win, lose, or draw, go out there and do something that fans will remember, do something that is very memorable. And that is exactly what Bully Ray had did. And, unfortunately, when Hogan, you kind of put your foot where your mouth is, brother, because that's exactly what Bully Ray did. He created a lot of shock value at that lockdown pay-per-view. And Bully Ray, at this point tonight, he's just begging and pleading with the Hulkster to go on ahead and fire him in Aces and Eights tonight if he has the balls. Well, we don't see Hulk Hogan. He doesn't come out. Matter of fact, nobody comes out, as you're kind of wondering, okay, what's going on with Hulk Hogan? Obviously, he's pretty pissed off, but he's not going to take this opportunity to fire the Hulkster. Just what exactly is going on here? And that pretty much had set the tone for the night. Now, we would end up seeing Hulk Hogan arrive at the Impact Arena, as cameras had asked him if he was going to fire Aces and Eights, but he gave no comment. Folks also wondered how was Brooke doing, how she been handling the news, and he gave no comment as he just wanted to be left alone. Well, word would get to the icon Sting that Hogan was in the building, and he tried to have a few words with him. Ooh, and a very peed off Hulk Hogan we had saw talking with Sting. Sting just being at the receiving end of so much harsh words that came from the Hulkster. You just think about the friendship that the Hulkster and Sting have had now for several months. It was basically the Stinger that had helped Hogan see the light when he went bad there for a little bit and had the whole immortal thing going on. And we see Sting, he's trying to play peacemaker and say to the Hulkster, hey, look, whatever you do, you can't fire Bully Ray. You can't fire Aces and Eights. We do this right. We can have them right where we want them. But Hulk Hogan quickly jumping on the Stinger and saying, you know what, all of this is your fault, Sting. I told you that Bully Ray couldn't be trusted from day one. I knew what I was talking about, and now he's married my daughter. He has the TNA title, and he has the company held hostage. This is what I get listening to you. There is no more we. Get out of my office. You disgust me. So it looks like the friendship, at least for now, there is a tear. As looks like Sting and Hogan are going to be going their separate ways. So it looks like. Well, of course, later on in the night, we would see Hulk Hogan finally address Bully Ray and those damn Aces and Eights, as Aces and Eights was on a rampage throughout the night. You know, at the very beginning of Impact tonight, we were supposed to see one of couple lockdown rematches. We were supposed to get Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez team up to take on Austin Aries and Bobby Roode for those TNA tag titles. Didn't go down, boys and girls. As I mentioned earlier, Aces and Eights, they pretty much had kicked it off. They ended up beating the crap out of Chavo and Hernandez, so they were out for tonight. Then their rampage had continued on as they were seen in a backstage segment, kicking back, drinking bottles of beer, and just enjoying the great success they've been having as of late, of course. Bully Ray as the champion. That's the icing on the cake right there. Well, Doc was taking a glance at a Impact Wrestling shop catalog book, whatever it is you want to call it, and Bully Ray couldn't help but take a glance at it and was not too pleased with the little bit of attention that was given towards Aces and Eights merchandise. And as a result of that, he told Doc, hey, whoever you turn the page on next, whoever that next TNA star is, we're going to be giving them a serious beatdown, and we didn't get to see who it was that Doc had landed on. But one thing was for certain, whoever this person was that was going to be getting a beatdown, they are one tough son of a bitch. And that tough son of a bitch was none other than the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, who would be later seen in a backstage segment getting ready to come out. I believe, I'm only speculating here, but I believe we possibly were maybe going to see him come out and maybe call out Wes Briscoe. But it didn't happen that way. We actually ended up seeing Wes Briscoe come up from behind Kurt Angle, tempt him into getting it on right then and there in a brawl. And as soon as he turned around, tried to engage Briscoe, other Aces and Eights members beat him down, and they beat him down pretty damn good, left him laying on the floor. So now if you're keeping track, Chavo's out, Hernandez is out, Kurt Angle is out. You're wondering to yourself, just what the hell is it going to take for the Hulkster to come out? Not to mention the bonus footage that we got shown tonight from the fallout of Lockdown, fresh after the events of Bully Ray becoming champion. We saw footage of Brooke Hogan crying backstage, can't believing that she has let so many men come into her life and break her heart so many times, and wondering where her dad is. It's just a whole mess that she was. She was not even in attendance tonight, folks, just in case you might have missed it. And Hulk Hogan, he would come out at the end of the night after Bully Ray had informed Hogan, what is it going to take? Well, maybe we have to bring it to you. Maybe we have to destroy the entire set of Impact tonight. And it looked like that was exactly going to be the case. But luckily, Hogan had came out and told Bully Ray that when it's all said and done, it would just be too easy to fire him and Aces and Eights. It would be a coward's way out, and that's just not the route he's going to be taking, as every dog has its time and its day, and that Bully Ray's time is going to be coming. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, but somewhere down the road, his time is going to come, and that in the meantime, Hulk Hogan, he has instilled the power to every man and woman on the TNA roster to come together and bring the fight to Aces and Eights. Unite to take them out once and for all. Led by the charismatic Enigma and former TNA champion until Sunday night, Jeff Hardy, led Samoa Joe, Magnus, a banged up Kurt Angle, Joseph Park. A couple of other people was in there. I can't remember the names off the break, but there was definitely a good amount of people that was in there. Tried to bring the fight to Aces and Eights. It was an all-out brawl for a couple of minutes. At the end, though, Aces and Eights, they came out on top as Bully Ray, looking like a Chester that he is, Diamond, with that smile on his face, walks up to the Hulkster and says, you just brought out your army to take us on, and we destroyed the cavalry. Hulk Hogan, what are you going to do now to end Impact Wrestling? Diamond, your thoughts on an explosive opening and ending of Impact with Bully Ray and Aces and Eights?
Very, very pleased, very surprised. I thought they were going to drop the ball, but it appears that they, they're here to do the job, and they're going to fight hard and continue to give us some exciting TV.
Yes, indeed. I just spoke with the folks about the crowd, that Chicago crowd. My God, that attendance just looked pretty freaking ridiculous tonight. Well, what was your takeaway from seeing the crowd?
As far as the crowd, I mean, like you said, the crowd looked good. I was reading reports and from various people within TNA saying that this was going to be the largest crowd that they had, here.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear that, you tend to be a little skeptical, but it definitely looked pretty good. It looked very good. I mean, pretty good is I'm underselling it. I mean, it looked very good. They were enthusiastic.
pull a Kurt Angle. It looked damn good. I mean, any time they're willing to show us different camera angles, and I was paying attention to how many angles they were showing us throughout the night, and I mean, they ended up kind of hitting double digits there. I'm like, okay, they aren't just fixated on one area trying to make it look like, okay, yeah, it's pretty big, it's popular. I mean, they showed us pretty much a whole 360, and it was like, man, so many people in attendance. And, there's a huge message that I take away from that, and we'll run over the rest of the card for you guys in just a little bit, but there's a huge message that I take away from Lockdown. I mean, that was a good turnout, but I look at that, and I look at what we got tonight, and I say to myself, you know what, whether some people want to admit it or not, and we discussed this briefly as we got ready to close out the Tuesday night show, how we have folks that like to sit up and they like to bash on a product week after week, and there are actually, unfortunately, some knuckleheads that like to try to make it be a running gag out of bashing Impact Wrestling every single week. I don't even think they could sit up and even try to bash what we've seen from them in the past two live events. This speaks volumes in my mind to the point of there are many, many TNA wrestling fans, and if given the opportunity, Diamond, if it comes to them, they are willing to go out and support them, and it hasn't been any more evident than what we've gotten from the past two live events.
Yeah, definitely. And, I mean, it definitely helps a lot that they were in a town like Chicago, which traditionally is a big wrestling town. Yeah.
Very, very, very pleased at the attendance. I mean, you bring TNA to your neck of the woods, you go, and they're off to a damn good start right now. Great home run. Some of the matches that we saw tonight, we saw the lovely Miss Taryn Terrell Diamond. Looks like she's going to be getting into a little bit more trouble as it was revealed that she is on probation. This is kind of what we were expecting. Although I believe we both had thought that maybe she was going to be done a little bit sooner, but I kind of had in the back of my mind maybe they were going to kind of give her another chance. But once again, Taryn Terrell, she let Gail Kim get in her head once again, as we saw a pretty damn good tag match between Mickie James and Velvet Sky as they defeated Tara and Gail Kim. Notice right here, though, if you've been paying attention, since Velvet Sky has been back, and I don't want you hardcore Velvet Sky fans to kick back and kind of go, Lee's going to pick on Velvet Sky again. No, don't take it like that. Just an observation I've noticed here. And luckily, my mind's pretty good when I'm watching something in the first take. It's very rare I rewind and I watch something all over again. But the thing I've been noticing, Dime, I don't know if you've been peeping this out, buddy, seems like the past few times we've gotten Velvet Sky in a match, there has been a case where other people have been trying to do their best to help put her over, and it comes up in a way where she's not really doing that much. And this couldn't be any more evident than what we saw tonight, because what spoke out to me mostly in this match was, okay, Mickie James is back, and a great ovation that she had received. I think between all the girls, I think Velvet really didn't get that much of a reception. It was kind of there, but if you were to kind of grade it from 1 to 10, kind of felt like maybe it was a 4, maybe a 5, and the rest of the girls, they kind of got like a 6, 7, maybe flirting almost with an 8, but not Velvet Sky. And for most of this match, Diamond, Velvet didn't really do that much. It was pretty much Mickie James, Tara, and Kim doing all the work, and Velvet just comes in at the end, gets the victory for her team.
Yeah, pretty much. She has friends in high places.
Yeah, high places indeed. Decent match, though. I was very happy to see Mickie James back. Of course, I'm always happy to see Mickie James. I'm a lifelong Mickie James fan. I mean, I can throw out independent wrestling promotions when she wasn't even going under that name. She was going under her real name with her sister down at the Dime, you probably remember the WEW promotion there. And, it always puts a smile on my face when I see her come on back. I just hope that she's back on a more consistent basis now that they are on the road. I think they could actually use her help. That is, if she's 100% good. I know she had got some surgery done, last year. And hopefully, if she's okay now, I definitely want to see her come back on a regular basis. Rob Terry was in action. I called this. I said I don't expect these two guys to be done after lockdown. They're going to continue to do this for a couple of more weeks. Once again, we saw Big Rob Terry. He gets another win over Robbie E. I love the fact that, and just to touch on the crowd again, was this something else that you noticed? There wasn't that many kids in attendance. This was just mostly adults, It was like, God, if I were to look at the age demographics, I hope I'm not exaggerating, but it looked like it was like 18 to maybe 45. Would that be the right assessment?
I would say that. I mean, I really think the TNA is just really geared towards an older demographic in general, and I think that the only time, the only reason we really saw kids there was because of the location of the Impact Zone. Yeah. Just
a couple of kids running around there. I bring it up because when you think about what we were getting at the Impact Zone, and you can only go but so much from the Impact Zone. After all, those are just tourists. They've paid their tickets. From what I understand, because I've never been to the Impact Zone in Florida, but from what I understand, you're paying to see and ride the rides there and all that other stuff, and it's like a bonus that you're able to go into Impact Wrestling and check out the show. It's part of the whole deal. But from what I could recall of the Impact crowd in Florida, it was like mostly a lot of young folks, tourists. You could tell, this person's just with their family, just trying to see, what this is all about, and unfortunately, see the people awkwardly walking away as they're trying to film. And, so I just thought that was kind of cool. But what was even more cooler, Diamond, was the fans chanting, "Feed me more" to Big Rob, man. I was like, damn, it's like that. And there was time to have.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, it's like, damn, WWE's in the house. He silenced them quick with that dancing, man. I was like, good timing, man, good timing. Cause, But, yeah, WWE in the house. I mean, just goes to show you there are actually fans that pay attention to TNA and WWE. There's fans that just love wrestling, period. They don't care what name it's from. They just want to be entertained. And one thing, though, I thought was a little bit weird, Diamond. Look, y'all got to do me a favor. If you're going to be going to these wrestling events and you got some bomb seats, I mean, like you in the front, you get to high-five the wrestlers and all that, y'all got to do me a favor when you go out. And this message definitely goes out for you TNA fans. Y'all got to represent, man. One point in the match, I believe it was the Daniels versus James Storm match, which was a damn good match, by the way. I love the fact that Daniels and Kazarian were mocking the Legion of Doom, or that Legion of Boom.
In Chicago, you like that?
Oh my God!
They were trying to get a lot of heat with that, and I mean, I don't know if it's been too long for the Road Warriors, or I'm assuming that some fans don't know who they are.
That was the impression I was getting, because I was paying attention to the reaction. I'm like, obviously these guys don't kind of know who the Road Warriors are. Otherwise, there would be a bigger pop or something. Because when they first come out, you're like, oh wow, they're just like the Road. You get all excited and everything. And I mean, they literally look like the damn Road Warriors. I'm like, damn.
Halloween slowed up for them.
Yeah. One thing, though, man, and I didn't get sidetracked, folks. I remember what I was about to say, but, the one thing about that you see Daniels better watch out, because, I mean, talking about that whole, oh, what a tush, his latest fascination with his ass, he better be careful, because if TNA Wrestling is going to be coming to D.C. Verizon Center, oh, man, the girls down DuPont Circle, they're going to be paying very close attention to that tushy. And boys and girls, I ain't talking about the ladies. I'm talking about another type of girls. Is
that what that area is called up there? Down there?
I don't know what that area is called, but I know the girls be down there. That much I do know. Look, I do my best just to be passing through on the bus or whatever. It's like, hey, I don't even want to say I'm in and out, because, y'all be like, nah, I'm, but, he better be careful, because that's some dangerous territory that he's going to be messing around with, showing off his butt and all that. But,
unless that's what he's looking for.
I think that's exactly what he's looking for. I know exactly what happened. Like most of us guys, we're showing off for our girlfriend. We're running around in our boxers and all that, and our girl probably says, you got a cute butt, and it gets to our head, and, we start playing that Rod Stewart song in our head, don't you think I'm sexy? Come on, sugar, let me know, do all that stuff. And, the thing that I thought was interesting, y'all TNA wrestling fans, y'all got to represent, seriously, because during that Daniels versus James Storm match, which James Storm had won, damn good match, by the way, I saw 4 fans that looked very disturbing, and if you have this episode on your DVR, I want you to do me a huge favor and rewind it to just that match, and you'll see the moment that I'm talking about. There's like 4 fans that look completely out of place. We had one fan that, and I didn't even rewind this. I just saw it in real time. We had one fan that was wearing a hockey Blackhawks jersey. Looked like he was at the wrong event. We had a 40-year-old woman that looked like she was having a midlife crisis, as a big chunk of her hair was gray. Some looked like it was missing. Rest of it was bright red. We had a 400-pound-plus guy wearing a Hawaiian Punch shirt. Now, I'm very offended, because it's not your weight. I'm offended that you come to a wrestling event wearing Hawaiian Punch, and you paid damn good money for your seat, and you could have just went to the concession stand, spent your $40, got you a TNA wrestling shirt, and you would have been good to go. There was one fan, I let him pass. You probably knows him, Diamond. He had Bully Ray's vintage nerd glasses on from when he was Bubba Ray there. Mm-hmm. I let him slide. And
Bubba Ray Dudley.
Bubba Ray Dudley, yeah. I let him slide. It took me a while to get it, but I let him slide. The only fan that was right, because there was like about 6 people. 4 of them already named. The last 2 were fine. One guy, he actually represented. Young little kid. He had an Impact Wrestling T-shirt on. Looked like he just bought it, brand new from the concession stands. Had his camera. Had a VIP badge. Lets me know that he probably got in a little bit earlier than some folks. That's how you represent if you're going to be getting those front row seats. Ain't no reason to show up wearing a Hawaiian Punch shirt. I'm just a little offended by that. I don't know. It's like, when I go to events, it's like I'm always looking around at what all people's wearing, and it's kind of like, really, you can spend $30 on beer and pizza, but you can't take that and go get you a shirt. What the hell, man? You ain't going.
Some people don't like the I guess to represent the shirt. Yeah, and some people do. So I guess he wore what he slept in, just straight there.
You called it too, because that shirt looked beat up. It looked like he'd been pushing that shirt since the '80s. I don't know, man. But let me stop picking on that poor fan. But it was all good. I got love for everybody. But let's talk about the rest of the matches. What else we had saw tonight? AJ Styles returned. kind of ditched the beard there a little bit, as post-match we saw Daniels and Kazarian. They tried to get the jump on Storm. Luckily, AJ, he came out. He was actually supposed to come out earlier, but they played his music. He didn't pop up, so a lot of folks thought maybe he did a no-call, no-show. But he did show up post-match and proceeded to beat down Kazarian. Came so close to getting his hands on Daniels. And just when you think that maybe, oh man, it's going to be the same old AJ Styles, huh? Ah, boo. Well, something interesting happens. We see him just cold clock James Storm, just knock him out to the canvas, and then walks out. The continued interest into this new AJ Styles. Your take on what we saw tonight? You have a little bit more insight where this is probably going to be going?
But as far as AJ?
Yeah.
Initially I was thinking he wasn't gonna show up. Then I had this funny thought of he wasn't gonna come down unless they said his name right, and maybe they were gonna mispronounce his name. That's what I thought they were going. Then part of me is thinking like some type of version of Sting, a la WCW when they were accusing Sting of being part of the NWO.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought some kind of misguided, misunderstood type of thing. It seems like they're doing something like that. I really can't say exactly where this is going now, and I don't think they know.
Very interesting. I had a conversation with one fan who said, this was like over the weekend, they said, have you seen AJ Styles' new logo on Twitter? I said, no, what's up? Well, the colors, it suggests to me that maybe he's going to join Aces and Eights. I said, well, man, you might be on to something there. Yeah, okay. And I don't see the connection just yet, although, as I said last week, we did see that footage of him, and you had to freeze it and watch it frame for frame. He was interacting with somebody from Aces and Eights. It looked like it was a possible prospect. Now, whether or not, they're going to go in that direction, I think at this point, the way that they're trying to tell this story, Diamond, is going to take at least a couple of more weeks, maybe 3 at best, to kind of get to that point. But I think right now, if I'm really looking at this, I think AJ Styles is in a really good position because he has all the greatest potential in the world to be that X factor that could really swing the momentum for Team TNA and trying to be rid of Aces and Eights once and for all. If that's what they're looking to do with AJ and give him that reignited push.
Yeah. I think he's getting ready to get a major push, and I think in the end he's going to be a face, though.
Yeah.
They don't need any more heels.
No, God, no. We have enough as it is. And speaking of heels, how about that promo that Bully Ray had cut there at the beginning of Impact? I almost had forgot about that. Once again, talking about NWO there, saying that he was able to accomplish something monumental in one night that NWO wasn't able to do for its since its initial creation there.
What do you mean by that, though? I mean, because Hogan had the title, the WCW title. What did he mean by that exactly? It was cool to hear him say it, but I didn't really get the substance of it.
I was, that's why I brought that. I was wondering, like, maybe I missed something here, because I'm like, NWO, it's like, I get that they're trying to, that's probably was their way of maybe trying to die down the whole NWO comparison, because a lot of people have been bringing it up. Maybe that was kind of his way of kind of quieting that and basically saying, Aces and Eights is better than NWO because, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't know about that either. Well, it
NWO
depends.
had better shirts. They had better T-shirts. I don't even know, does Aces and Aces even have a T-shirt?
Apparently they had a little something because they was mad at the lack of inventory that was shown in that Impact Wrestling catalog.
Yeah, we don't have any merch. Yeah.
You know, I mean, seriously though, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that concept, Aces and Eights merchandise. I do remember a commercial airing for that, like about 2 weeks ago. I want to say it was maybe a T-shirt or a Fake Me Out vest you could buy. Don't quote me, folks. I might be wrong, but I definitely remember them 2 weeks ago plugging it at their Shop TNA site. And I just remember kind of kicking back and chuckling to myself. I'm saying to myself, do we really want to go down this route? Why not pull a page out of Chris Jericho's playbook? Remember that one run there that Chris Jericho had? It was, I think, the last time that he had came back and he was pushing the whole heel thing. And I remember folks was wondering why he wasn't in the new WWE 12 game. And he said, because it doesn't make sense for me to be in the game if, you know, I'm being this badass heel and, you know, I'm talking all this trash, you know, why should I be in the game? And same thing went for new Jericho merchandise. He was able to still find old Jericho merchandise, but there was no new Jericho merchandise. He wasn't in the game, and it was just his way of really capitalizing on being a heel. And I can't help but think about that when I think about Aces and Eights. It's like, you know, do we really want to see Aces and Eights memorabilia for sale? I mean, I know that's a way to make money, but do we really need that? I don't think so.
No, I don't think anybody wants to either.
You know, just think about that. It's like, what are you really representing when you're wearing Aces and Eights? I mean, seriously. Hey guys, look at my girlfriend. She's wearing Aces and Eights shirt. It's like, okay, so basically you think of your girlfriend as a hoe. Because that's exactly what Aces and Eights think of the women that's in their stable. You know.
I don't think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, you know, this ain't the NFL. Yes, women look hot in NFL jerseys, but your woman in an Aces and Eights shirt, that's just not gonna play out so good. Your ass is gonna be sleeping on the couch for a couple of nights. So let me tell you. So you can forget that. But no, man. I'm very curious where this is going to go now, because I mean they just destroyed the entire TNA roster. Do you think Hulk Hogan is going to have to maybe dig down deep and maybe bring in some folks outside of TNA wrestling to try to take on Aces and Eights? Because I'm just kind of, you know, throwing a couple of ideas out there, but I'm kind of getting this weird vibe that that's maybe one of the steps that Hogan might have to take now.
I don't know. I'm assuming that they're going to implode from within, and you know, we're going to have some type of a turn from within, maybe Anderson or somebody else. I don't know to try to make this right. I don't see anybody else coming in. I don't think there's anybody else left to come in. I think they've been restructuring their money situation. It seems like they're taping once, one taping and taping 2 weeks worth of stuff. So, they're cutting back on money a little bit because it's costing them more money to go on the road. I don't know. I think this is going to be something handled internally. Did you think that Hogan was a little too hard on Sting?
Oh, yeah, and I liked it. It was a great touch because it says to me that the buddy chum relationship that they've had, that it's pretty much on ice for now, and I think that's kind of nice that excuse me, folks, that it's going to go down that way. I think Hogan and Sting, I think they need a break.
Yeah.
You know,
I definitely need a break. I don't like the dynamic of them being friends, chummy. I didn't like the dynamic of Ric Flair and Eric Bischoff being chummy. It's just, certain things just doesn't, when you have these arch rivals, and then they try to be, to me, Flair and Dusty Rhodes, being buddy pals would seem weird, and Sting and Hogan it just seems like someone's going to turn at any moment, with those two.
Yeah. Yeah, you're wondering the whole time, okay, who's going to turn on who first, because this possibly couldn't last. I'm just glad we didn't see another Hulk Hogan go heel on Sting, because that was just, it just kind of, it would just be too played out, so I'm glad
that... man, I'm telling you, Brooks and Aces and Eights.
And notice she didn't show up tonight, yeah.
I'm gonna do my classic Mr. McMahon thing on all of you. I'm gonna say it was me all along. Me all along.
Look, man! I've already got the audio mixed down and everything. That joint's gonna say Impact Showdown Radio from da 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 da, and then we're just gonna play the clip. And we're gonna have you give your prediction, and we're just gonna fast forward, be like Diamond trying to tell you, Brooke Hogan, y'all gotta watch out for that. Do you? Let's entertain this thought for a second. And I briefly had heard this on Twitter, and I thought some folks made a very interesting point. Do you think it's now time for Aces and Eights to start injecting females into this stable? And I don't mean, I ain't talking about hoes. I mean something like what LAX had with Shelly Martinez, a.k.a. Salinas. Do you think they might need to kind of get to that point next?
I think that's really going to water it down. I mean, the thing about Aces and Aces, they haven't showed any signs of anything. I mean, it's just been all Aces and Eights. At some point, you have to give something back. This is one of the biggest problems that the NWO had, is that they never, they just, the Horsemen, whoever they were fighting, they never got anything. NWO didn't give up anything, and Aces and Aces had everything go their way. So eventually, it's, Team TNA is going to have to get ahead at some point.
Yeah, they're going to have to. Do you have concern for the Blueprint, Matt Morgan? We saw Joseph Park. He cut that promo, kissing up to the Chicago crowd. I thought that was just too overdrawn there. But luckily we saw Matt Morgan come out, and looks like these two are going to be getting it on next week. Are you concerned about Matt Morgan?
No, I mean, he's a Blueprint. He needs some type of a program, and I guess this is as good as any to get him started. It's kind of funny though that we were talking about the Chicago crowd and being such big wrestling fans, but they will turn on you. It's very similar to New York, but I mean, that Chicago crowd was very opinionated, and a couple points in time it seemed like they were going to turn on Parks. And Parks.
Yeah, especially when he brought up the Cubs. Like, no, dude, you don't bring that up. Not unless you're talking about Harry Carey.
They didn't like that.
It's like, come on now, stay connected. You kind of talk as if maybe you haven't been in Chicago for a while, brother. What's going on, And I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned for Matt Morgan, because I don't mind him getting into it with Joseph, so as long as he gets to W, because my stomach just cannot bear the thought of a Joseph Park getting a win over Matt Morgan. It's like, what the hell are you thinking? That does nothing. You want to get Morgan. Look at him. Just look at him. He needs to go over, right now. And I would be very heartbroken if they have him take a loss to Joseph next week. will say this. I will say this though. He's Joseph Hart. He's got some damn good music. I mean, every time I hear his little intro, I keep thinking about L.A. Law.
I think that's what they're going for.
I think, I think so. And of course, when I think about when I think about L.A. Law, I think about the character that was mentally challenged on the show. Lovable character too. That's exactly who Joseph Hart reminds me of. It's like, it's like, you go, Joseph, with your park.
Do you think that Taz is better, worse, the same, as far as his commentary?
Well, yeah, let's evaluate Taz this week. We do like to check in with Taz. Taz is still the same. You know, I know he was giving a little high five to Bully Ray tonight, and, you know, ho, those are my guys, ha-ha. You know, still the same. Nothing's changed. I'm really enjoying Todd, though. I like the Todd... Yeah. The Todd, Mike, Tenay. Honestly, I'm at a point right now, I could care less about Taz. Let's just let it be a two-man thing. I never thought I'd say this. I even miss Jeremy Borash commentating with the guys. I'm so beyond Taz right now, but like nowadays I just try to do my best to ignore him. And I'm sorry, but if you're gonna be a heel commentator, just because you don't acknowledge Velvet Sky letting the pigeons loose, it doesn't make you a heel. I'm sorry. You know, that just doesn't cut it for him. You gotta do a little bit more than that. And you know, surprisingly, this one person I was interacting with, he was like, "When is Taz gonna get physical? When's he gonna help out his brothers? He's just sitting there commentating, just, you know, talk. When's he gonna do something?" I told him, I said, "My friend, Taz don't do anything. That's his job. You know, he gets paid to do nothing, literally. So, you know, it's never going to happen." Folks that thought maybe folks that thought he was going to throw it down with Joey Ryan, y'all were disappointed. It ended up being Al Snow. No disrespect to Al Snow. I love the guy. I'll give him his props. He's contributed a lot to the business. But that match he had with Joey Ryan, what was that? Bound for Glory? That was pitiful.
Yeah. That's why he put it off so long.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That was pitiful. But, I could do without Taz, quite honestly. I would definitely want to pick your brain on something. I thought this was very interesting. There are so many knockouts right now that have all turned down the invitation to appear for this One Night Only Knockouts pay-per-view. I mean, it's freaking ridiculous. And if you guys haven't heard this, we mentioned some names a couple of weeks back as TNA Wrestling. They tried to reach out to Amazing Kong. She turned them down. They tried to reach out to Angelina Love. And bear in mind, both of these girls, they're now with the Shine Wrestling promotion. They kind of do a little something with Shimmer, but they're mainly exclusive to Shine Wrestling. So Kong, Love, turn them down. Tracy Brooks, she turned them down. Radiant Rain, a.k.a. Peyton Banks, Winner, Sarita, all turned TNA Wrestling down. Now, most recently, it was Tracy Brooks who tried to die down the fire a little bit and say, you know, you all don't be jumping to conclusions. It's not what you think. It's just that I have other obligations. Otherwise, I would love to go to this event. That's all fine and dandy. You know what? You very well may be telling the truth. You know, nobody is even saying you're lying. But, you know, hey, if that's what's going on, so be it. But just to know the number of names, Diamond, that have all passed on this Knockouts pay-per-view, and then you throw in a girl like Shelly Martinez, who we just talked about earlier in the show, who released a YouTube video saying, "Hey, TNA Wrestling, how come you didn't ask me to be part of the pay-per-view?" You know, what's your take on this? Do you think that maybe, you know, because we've yet to hear names announced for this event, do you think all these girls that have claimed they all turned them down, do you think maybe they might be trying to give us a little curveball here, or is this really a case where they actually have turned it down and there probably won't be a Knockouts pay-per-view?
Well, I think that they probably turned it down because the initial money offer was probably low, And I think that they're just going to need to up the stakes and get the price right.
Mm-hmm.
The price is probably wrong right now.
Mm-hmm. I know, with all due respect to Amazing Kong, and I'm going to try to tread lightly here, as she is one that we're still trying to work with to get on a future episode. I know one of the things that she was very vocal about, and it is in black and white, if you can get a hold of the transcript, is one of the main reasons why she left TNA Wrestling. As you said, Diamond, the pay was just pretty bad, and she was always, at least when she was in the company, she always wanted to have the Knockouts get a better pay, close to what the guys were getting, minus a couple of $100 maybe. But I think about that, and I'm just saying to myself, I wonder, if maybe that's the case. Why they all have turned it down is that the money is too low. And then you hear about the newest thing that has come out of all this, with them kicking back and taping their shows. What was that, like 2 weeks worth of shows?
Yes,
the next night. Yeah. I'm hearing that the wrestlers, they aren't even getting paid for that. They're getting paid for Impact, but they're not really getting like money for these taped episodes that they're doing. And I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean you're not getting paid? And I had to really dig deep. It looks like for the 2 tapings that they're doing, they're not getting paid per appearance. They're just getting paid.
Right. I mean,
what the hell is that?
I mean, it's something that has to happen because, people saying that they want them to be every week and they want them to be on the road. And going live is a very big expense. And so in order for them to do this, in the long term, for this long-term benefit, there's going to be a short-term sacrifice. And yes, where the guys were getting paid every week, now they're getting 2 weeks worth of work out of them in 1 week. And so that's less money that they're spending on talent, less money they're spending on hotel, less money they're spending on travel, but they're technically getting more product out. And if the guys complain, then, there's different things that can happen. They can just have them do promos or bring in someone else, there's a lot of things they can do. I think they should just stick with what's going on and not rock the boat right now.
Yeah.
But when they go to restructure some of these contracts, I'm sure that they're going to get some different language in there. This is probably under the current contract, and that's the way it is. But when they restructure some of these deals, they're probably going to have different kinds of language in there.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. I mean, because that's just, and you're making it so difficult for these talents as it is. You're telling them, hey, you can't go to these independent wrestling shows without getting our consent first. You can't be filmed for these independent promotions, DVDs. It's like, well, how else are they supposed to bring in money? I mean, it's, I'm sorry, that's just bad math for me. You tell me we're going to tape 2 episodes and I'm not getting paid per appearance. It's kind of like, okay, talk about a ripoff. So yeah, they're definitely going to have to restructure these contracts. I thought this was interesting. Now, not including the UK tour, TNA's average live event attendance in January went down by 54% to 550 from 1,200 in January 2012. And it looks like the January 2012 period for Impact averaged 1.15 rating and 1.61 million viewers, but in January this year, the average was 1.12 with 1.53 million viewers. So very interesting piece of news right there. Turns out Jesse Sorsen was at Lockdown Diamond, but he was kind of questionable as far as wrestling, as apparently he had suffered another injury at least 3 months ago. They had planned to bring him back in last year. There was supposed to be some type of a plan for a big push, but nobody knows right now what's going to be happening to him. You think TNA Wrestling at this point, given this kid keeps getting injuries, they probably might be looking at him a little bit different, maybe a little bit cautious?
I mean, they probably need to cut ties with him this year. I mean, this kid's a liability.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you would think that after a almost career-ending injury, injury that could have, no pun intended, could have made you like Christopher Reeves, you would think that you would come back, you'd work smarter, you'd wrestle smarter, and to hear that he had suffered, another nasty injury, and he's, almost at 100% now, it's kind of like, what the hell is this kid doing? I mean, is he doing backyard wrestling? What?
He better not be.
I hope not. I've been not seeing nothing on YouTube. I mean, that's just insane. I mean, he's like ruining his chances. So for those of you that keep asking, where's Jesse Sorsen? What's going on with Jesse Sorsen? Jesse Sorsen keeps screwing himself up. To be honest. He keeps screwing himself up, and honestly, at this rate, and I got to take a statement back. I remember early on Impact Showdown, I was very critical of Zema Ion. I remember I used to go on tirades blaming Zema Ion, saying, he was the reckless one, but, to now hear that Jesse Sorsen, is just kicking back without other people, or without a Zema Ion, to wrestle, he's basically been the one that's been reckless.
Is that the way you see it?
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, I thought maybe it was Zema, because I remember there was those couple of periods there where it seemed like 2 to 3 wrestlers that got in the ring with Zema Ion. It kind of seemed like he wasn't too careful with them. I think one of the other guys that comes to mind is Chris Sabin. I can't think of the third person, but there's definitely 3 people along with Jesse that all had suffered some type of injury working with Zema Ion. And I think Zema is just one of those type of guys. He's just a little rough. I don't really look at him as reckless, though. And just to hear what Jesse's been up to, since his neck injury, he, like I said, on a couple of weeks ago, he was 100% as of last year, like right around, I want to say like maybe right around October or something, and he started wrestling for some indie promotions. So this little injury that he had it happened from one of those guys. So it had nothing to do with TNA. And yeah, Diamond, I think they need to ditch him because honestly, if he gets injured on TNA's watch with the right type of people whispering in Jesse's ear, he could probably slap them with a lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let him talk to Conan, and that'll really push him in the lawsuit direction.
I got to be silly. You don't mean O'Brien, right?
No.
Yeah, that Conan. Yeah, Conan will be the one holding that flag high and leading on that damn lawsuit. There's no doubt about that one. God, I don't know, man. I know. Speaking of Conan, it looks like the AAA promotion looks like they're going to be doing some work with TNA Wrestling. It was confirmed by TNA and it was confirmed by AAA as well as Conan. Apparently, there's going to be a couple of stars that's going to be going down to the TNA promotion to help out with their annual World Cup tournament that they like to do. Conan, he's only given word that a female's going to go down, 2 heavyweights, and a tag team. So that he's being very vague, but that's all he pretty much had said. about that. I'm like, very interesting. But it's nice to see that they continue to have, a good relationship with some of these independent promotions. I'm a little bummed out that things kind of hit a little bit of a sour patch with Ring of Honor Wrestling there. I would have liked to continue to see them collaborate more.
Definitely. I would have liked to have seen that as well.
Yeah, because it's like after things went sour with Kenny King, it's kind of like, okay, you guys are off limits. No more candy for you. It's like, damn, really? It's like that. Shit, it sucks. And looks like Rob Van Dam's contract is going to be expiring pretty soon. It doesn't explain why he was not at Lockdown. Honestly, I could care less. I thought Lockdown did pretty good without him. But I am a little curious what the future might hold for Mr. Rob Van Dam. I know you've been very critical about Van Dam a few times in recent weeks, but do you see TNA trying to hold on to him a little bit longer?
I'd let him go. I'd let him go.
On what grounds?
It's just time to let him go. You know what I mean? Some old talent that we need to get up out of there, and he's one of them. He's one of the problems. Taz too.
I tell you what, this is my prediction. If Rob Van Dam does part ways with TNA, for those that just want to even jump out there, no WWE return. Let's get that type of talk out the way. We hear it all the time. TNA or WWE, TNA or WWE. Then it's kind of like when you knock both of those out. Ring of Honor, I don't see none of that happening. Let me tell you what's going to happen with Rob Van Dam once he's done with TNA. Two things. Either he's going to go back to his little comic book shop that he's got going on. I know he's also done some stuff in podcasting. It's been pretty decent. I enjoy some of his content. Or he could give Shane Douglas a call and maybe pop up at the Extreme Rising promotion.
That makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense right now.
Yeah.
Because honestly, no disrespect to Extreme Rising. Like I said in earlier shows, they've struggled the first few pay-per-view events, but they continue to get a little bit better. I think Rob Van Dam would be a great addition to that place. There is a part of RVD that I don't know about you, Diamond, but there is that part of RVD that I see he does want to help out the younger guys. Why he keeps getting put in a position of championship gold, maybe it's just because of his name value, but I do see him going over there, helping out the guys, and maybe one last hoorah, maybe, getting that belt before he hangs it up for good. And I wouldn't mind that. I could tolerate that, but I'd like to see him go over there and just really help them out and just be back with the boys.
They could use him. I think so.
Yeah. Lord knows they could use all the help. They could use all the help they could get, man. I mean, seriously. That's pretty much gonna do it, man. We did another solid show tonight. I'm gonna ask you. I gotta pick your brain real quick. Did you check out on Song?
Oh, Whispers?
Let me see. No, this week was Mint Condition.
I didn't check out that. I checked out the Whispers though.
How'd you like that one?
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was damn good. Yeah, I like how they all had kind of found Christ at the end there. It was like, wow, okay, that's interesting, but okay, cool. Whatever gets you through, that's cool. The Mint Condition one was damn good. They had me grooving. They made me feel like an old man and playing them damn hits. Oh, you Sam swang, and I'm like, oh, that's the jam. Looks like they're going to be closing it out with Johnny Gill. I'm like, oh, that should be interesting. I wonder if they're going to bring up what those rumors with Eddie Murphy. So. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. We've been hearing about that for years, man. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, just Google search is your best friend. Just say Eddie Murphy and Johnny Gill, and you'll be educated on all the rest, because that's a long story to go into, and that, that is a form of wrestling, but that's not the type of wrestling I want to be talking about tonight.
Definitely not.
Nah. So what you got planned for this Saturday? You doing Ustream Radio? What you got planned?
Yep. Definitely gonna do that, and that's it. That's it, really.
I gotta show some love, man. I was kicking back the other night. If you guys haven't seen this yet, I highly encourage you to go check it out. Diamond K's got a pretty kick-ass video on his YouTube channel at the Diamond K Show. I'm not going to even announce the name of the song because I was just looking at the video, dude. So I don't want to sound like Ed Sullivan and mess the name all up. What's the name of the song?
Shake That Booty, Girl.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I didn't want to sound like Ed Sullivan. And here's Diamond K with Shake That Jam, Girl. That is one bomb video. I was loving that, man. I was like, oh my God. I mean, them sisters, it was just ka-down. I was loving it.
No talent, yeah.
I was beautiful talent.
Yeah.
Dude, it was better than Mr. Cheeks Walmart.
Appreciate that.
I love that, man. I don't know. Don't ask me how those girls was able. I'm still trying to figure that out. How they was able to just go in there and just in Walmart. What they did with those cheeks was just that wasn't human. That's all I got to say about that. But show Diamond K some love. Go hop on YouTube and check out his YouTube channel. And he's got some great content. Not only that music video you can check out, but you can also check out his Raw Post Show. A lot of great content on there. Show him some love. Check it out. We always got you guys covered, too, on our YouTube channel over at the RCWR Show. We give you a little bit of everything. Check both of those out. Check out the Ustream Radio Show this Saturday. It'll be from 2 to 4. I'll be on air this Saturday as well. I'll give you guys a recap of what all you might have missed this week in wrestling. I'll also give you guys some Ring of Honor news. We also got a couple of reviews. I'll give you one right now. We'll be reviewing the new Dave Grohl and the A-list of all-stars that have helped him out on the new Sound City soundtrack album. I'll give you an honest review about that. If you're a little bit on the touch and go of buying that album, you definitely want to check out the interview. We'll do an in-depth piece on that. And that's going to do it. All right. So in the meantime, Talk of Wrestling might end here. Do us a favor. Be kind. Rewind. Check out previous episodes that you might have missed. Download them on iTunes, Stitcher, Keywords, the RCWR Show. Do you have PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360? Because if you do, you don't. My God, then you're missing out, man. Because you can actually play our episodes as well as Diamond K's episodes on the YouTube channel. That's right. You go on there, you go to PS3, you go to the Xbox, you check out the YouTube app, and you can play all those beautiful episodes, stream them, and you'll never miss out. I love that technology. So beautiful. All right, guys. Y'all be safe. Be kind to one another. Have a good weekend, and we'll both see you this Saturday. Everybody, take care.